So on May 2nd at about 10 o'clock at night, they detonated the Bird's Point levee, which was the first artificial crevasse they put in the system. The next day, they detonated a hole in New Madrid County, which was termed outflow number 1. And then 2 days later, they detonated the hole in front of the Big Oak State Park, which was termed outflow number 2. Neither of those 2 holes ever functioned as an outflow. Water flowed in both of those 2 holes. So we had water coming in those 2 crevasses plus the initial crevasse site, which was Bird's Point, and it filled up here in Mississippi County fairly fast. I'm not sure exactly when the federal government took over the building of the levee, but I know the first time that floodwaters breached that levee system was 1927. Floodwaters breached it again in 1937. Now it was an entirely different structure than it is now. I've talked to some of the older folks around here. In 27 and 37, you could barely walk a horse down the top of it. It was barely wide enough for someone to ride a horse down the top of. Of course, now it's wide enough for an 18-wheel truck to go down the top of. So it was a significantly shorter levee at that time, and a significantly more narrow levee. And I'm going to say probably not as structurally sound as the levee that we have right now. We had heavy rains in March and April of 2010. All those rains combined with a heavy snow in the north, which meant a lot of melt, a lot of melting snow getting in the Mississippi River and coming down. And I guess the bad news for us is we're at the confluence of 2 of the largest rivers in the country, the Ohio and the Missouri. Where those 2 rivers meet is Bird's Point, which is where the initial crevasse occurred. So what we would have is rain coming through here, snow coming down from the Mississippi River from the north, rain coming through here, getting in the Mississippi River through our drainage systems, and then even when it would pass here, almost every storm that came through headed east and north and got in the Ohio River Valley system through Indianapolis and that area. And even when it would rain there, we thought the rain was past and it was sunny. It was still moving that way, and it would rain over there, and here it comes back down the Ohio again. A lot of farming operations were lost, completely destroyed. A lot of homes were lost, completely destroyed. To give you some perspective, I was born and raised in the spillway. And I went through the 73 flood, the 75 flood, the 77 flood, and a lot of other floods. And we had our house built on a small mound, and the closest the water ever came to getting in our house was about 12 inches. In 2010, of course I don't live there anymore, but in 2010 that same house that had never had even the highest flood water had never gotten in it. The flood was 3 feet over the top of the roof of that house. The residents around here are kind of used to flooding, but they knew what was coming. They knew whatever stage the river was at, you know, when it was time to leave your house and all that stuff. This was completely different. Nobody had any idea what the effects of this would be or how high the water would be, but the effects turned out to be fairly devastating. Almost every home and every farming headquarters in the spillway was just almost completely destroyed. I think it probably confirmed what a lot of people know about the people that live here in southeast Missouri, and that they are very hard working, dedicated, loyal, almost indefatigable type folks as we are. But I also think it brought a new awareness about our area of the country to the country at large, because this was a huge interest all over the place.